Now, this is going to be for all the people that suffer from procrastination, okay? You say you're going to do this. You say, I'm gonna lock in. I'm going to make a bunch of money. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to get a six-pack, whatever, and then you do nothing. And then you goon, then you play Fortnite, whatever game people are playing now. Then you goon again, and again, and again. And then you go to sleep, wake up in the morning, and you're sad. Or you just goon again. So, what exactly causes procrastination? Procrastination is really just the fear of confronting something. Okay? A lot of people just say, well, it's just you being lazy. You don't feel like doing it. You don't have enough motivation. That's all just BS, okay? Unless you are really dumb and you picked a career path that you don't want to do, then, okay, maybe that could be the case. But, like, if you are thinking, and this is why working on your own mind is important so you understand what you really want, but if you're someone who really wants to do something, and you could think to yourself and you imagine yourself with it, and you could see that version of you, and it gets you excited, and you can't go and do it, there's a fear. There's something that's holding you back. There's a eidon, which is your purpose/identity. That's your center of consciousness. And consciousness is like awareness, like your sense of being. And your eidon's your sense of I. So it's going to be like, I am going to go to the gym. He goes, and this is the gym. It's going to go, and then boom, something blocks it. This is procrastination. But this procrastination's like a veil of something deeper. So the first thing you do when you procrastinate is you lay in it. Okay, you give up. You give up this trying to butt into it. Instead, you gotta work with it. Because this block is not like a 7'5", 400-pound, like muscular bodyguard, whatever person. In reality, it's like this big like shadow of a little hurt puppy. Okay, that's what it's usually going to be. So it depends on the individual, right? It could be, you know what, I fear success. A lot of people have fear of success. It's like self-sabotage, imposter syndrome. Some people feel like, this is the unknown. I don't want to go into the unknown. It could be, there's also such a thing as having like a low will in a moment, but that's just because the mental plane's been fried. And that's the other thing. I'll talk more about that later. It could also be a mental plane issue. But usually it's going to be something like that. Okay? And, you know, you have to embrace this procrastination in order to work with it. Okay? Because I remember for most of my life, I think my story with the gym is a really good example. Because, you know, now people ask me, how do I get started in the gym? You know, how do you stay consistent? Blah, blah, blah. And you go like, well, you have a home gym, you have a whole barbell setup. I mean, that makes things so much easier. And it's like, well, you know, before I even had all this stuff, I was consistent in the gym. But it wasn't always like that. I remember when I was in 5th grade, 6th grade, 4th grade, I would do those, who was it? Jeff Cavalier? Well, what's his, Athlete X? Yeah, I used to do those like ab routines. I used to look up ab circuits, push-ups, all this different stuff. And I wanted to get ripped. And like, I wanted to look good for the elementary Huz. Is that what they say, Huz? Oh, God. But, yeah. I was looking into all that, and I was like, well, at night, I would wake up, I would do my sit-ups, my crunches, whatever the hell I was doing. I think I was doing sit-ups. Sit-ups are dumb. Don't do sit-ups. If you're going to do an ab exercise, do crunches. Sit-ups are like hip flexor exercise. They're not even really an ab exercise. Anyways, don't worry. I'm not going to sell you something. What I will tell you is that if you find this video helpful, you will love my Discord. Okay? There's nothing paid over there, like I said, but the point is that I could share censored information there that I cannot share on YouTube, Twitch, or any of these other platforms. Remember, I always struggled with getting into there, getting into the gym, getting there consistently. And ultimately, I started becoming consistent by just showing up just a few times and then falling in love with it. But when I look back, I realized the easiest way I could have just worked with my mind. And here's the thing. The greatest skill you could develop is working with your mind. Taking things in your mind that are negative and turning them positives, or turning procrastination into motivation, work. the mental plane being saturated. Talk more about that later. But I realized the easiest way I could have gotten out of this was just by sitting down, working my procrastination, going like, well, why am I procrastinating? And it's like, well, because you don't feel like doing this. It's like, well, I mean, why don't I feel like doing this? And really, for me, one of the big reasons why was because, and I got really deep with myself, or if I were to get really deep with myself, I would go, because you don't think this is going to work. You can't do this. Okay, look at you, you're fat. Can't do this. Quit. So see, that's the block there, but when you lay in this, and you recognize it, you can then start to work with it. So then you can go like, well, okay. You acknowledge it, you don't repress it, and it's like, okay, you know what? Why do I think this way? And then you start going down this rabbit hole of looking at your whole entire life. And that is the moment, that is the time when you make the most important revelations about yourself. You start understanding the most important things about yourself, and then you can start changing. But only after that. You have to observe before you change. And the other thing about motivation, willpower, whatever, is it's a bit... Motivation, willpower, when I speak of them, I don't speak of them the same way a lot of other people speak of them. I speak of them in the sense that it's just your willing, your fire, so your psychic energy, and what is being charged with. Okay, or excuse me, what it's charging. So, in your mind, you have like a fire within you. So when you're tired and you're sleepy, your fire is low. But when you're awake, your fire is high, right? But sometimes you feel like it's low, and that's because it's being blocked, right? And what it can be blocked by is by complexes that are sabotaging, like we talked about before, that blocking thing. Or it could be it's going to places you don't want it to go. So that creates friction. And what is charged in your mind, what this fire is cooking, is whatever is going through your mental plane. And your mental plane is a stream of consciousness, ideas, thoughts, words, so on and so forth. So if you were just to blurt out things you're thinking in your mind, you would probably say, oh, well, I could go in later. I want to go play that video game. Is McDonald's open? Like those, like really, just stop for a moment. Not right now. Okay, give me the watch time. After you're done, just stop and really just sit down and really just think about what's going through your mind. The images that pop up, the words that you say to yourself. And you start to realize why your life is the way it is. Now, how do you change the mental plane? Simple. What goes in, goes out into the mental plane, right? So, if you're gooning a bunch, and dopamine and high energy, high stimulus situations, those will make it stick more. So gooning is a big one for a lot of people. They watch, it stimulates them, then that gets saturated into the mental plane. That's how they get addicted. It's not just about dopamine, it's about the mental plane. And same thing goes for video games. Video games are high stimulation. Like, oh my god, that's crazy. I can't believe that happened. That's a high stimulus. And then that saturates the mental plane. So now it's about video games. So now they get stuck in playing the video games. It's a bit like an algorithm. Okay, if you start looking up repair tools on Instagram, you're going to start seeing a bunch of posts about repair tools. Your mind works the same exact way. If you start inputting content, that's when you start thinking about. So be careful about what you input. Alright? So, to wrap up, if you're procrastinating, just embrace it, bro. Embrace it and work with it. That's how you're going to stop procrastinating. Not all this other BS advice about just do it, bro. It doesn't work.